So for the soap makers that actually do businesses, this is the time of the year where sales tend to, increase, right? And so that means by default that you're going to end up with more customers perhaps getting broken shipments or mismatched items or, just general not happy with the product. Customer complaints, essentially. And it can be really disheartening and it can be really difficult and it can be hard to put your business owner hat on in trying to figure out how to deal with them. And so that's what we are going to be talking about today. And I'll tell you more about that. Although I kind of just gave the whole plot, but we'll talk about it more in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things. And you're here for day 6 of 31 Days of Soapmas. And yeah, as I said, today we are talking about customer complaints and how you, as a business owner, should be handling them. Now, while we do this, we are going to be pouring my Love is Love bar, which was a custom order, so a whole loaf purchase that was purchased on the website. And I think that's actually kind of fitting because one of the examples of a very interesting and kind of difficult interaction for me had to do with the Love is Love bar earlier this year. So let's get to the video. We're going to pour 6 layers. It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be a good time. And we can talk more about what you as a business owner should be doing whenever your customer comes to you because they're unhappy for any reason with your product and or business. And hint, it doesn't mean just bowing down and conceding because I don't believe that the customer is always right. So let's get to the video again and we'll do all of that. So in our line of business, it's very unlikely that you're going to get a whole bunch of customer complaints. Customer complaints will be few and far between for sure. But your best bet is to make sure that you are set up and well equipped to handle your first ever customer complaint long before it ever comes in. And so first and foremost, I would recommend that you sit down and you think about what your policies are going to be regarding complaints, returns, exchanges, and refunds. And we're all going to fall on that a little bit differently. Like for example, for me, I don't do any returns just across the board because of the nature of our products. They are usable products. There's potential that they could have been used. Therefore, I cannot resell them. So if I mess up an order and I send out the wrong product, well, I resend the right product immediately. And they get to keep the thing that I also sent that was wrong. You know what I mean? For exchanges, it's the same thing. I do not do exchanges, but if there was something that I did wrong, that I, sent something out that was the wrong product or whatever, of course, you have your refund option or you have your replacement option. And I have all of those policies really well spelled out on my website. So a customer knows just being on my website what they can expect from me should anything happen in this business transaction. And I think that's really important to know. Because we have to remember that in this line of work as the business owner, right, we are in kind of a position of power because essentially a customer has come to our website and they have given us money with the promise of a product. That's it. They've given us money and we have given them nothing. And so we should take that relationship very, very seriously. They've put a lot of trust into us. And so having those website policies lined out, ready to go, so you know exactly where to find them. They're not hidden on the website. Very, very good idea for sure. So they know what they're getting into. They know what they can expect from you. Should a product be wrong, or should they be unhappy with the product? That's all there. But an extra bonus of that is that you can then use those policies to help guide those conversations with the customers, because the customer can be approaching this emotionally for a number of reasons, especially during this time of the year, right? There are tons of purchases going on. Everybody's frazzled. There's all these activities, whatever, and emotions are heightened, and we're all on this deadline. It's everything has to be under the tree and ready to go if you celebrate the Christmas thing. And it's same with, the Hanukkah, you get it. And so it's definitely, there's definitely an opportunity for customers to approach you in a way that perhaps they would not approach anyone under normal, not under duress circumstances. They may be very emotional. They may yell at you. First and foremost, I do not believe that any human should ever be yelled at for any reason, unless it's just completely devolved into chaos. But this is a business relationship, so there's no reason that it should ever be that. And so if you find yourself being yelled at, no, I do not believe the customer is right in that instance. And you have every right as a business owner to, say hello, hi, let's talk as humans. I need to lower the temperature here. I want to help you. I want to make sure that your problem is corrected, but I am feeling attacked. I am feeling uncomfortable. We are not going to get anywhere by yelling. So let's look at the order number. Let's see what's going on. Do you have pictures if the order is damaged, so you can, give that to USPS, which is a different subject in and of itself, and a terrible process with USPS and their insurance policies. But having those structures in place gives you the ability to remind yourself, I'm a business owner. Cool. What do I say about this? Customer service is what? How many days do I have to resolve? What are the options? First thing you do, you got to start with that order number. You got to see what you're looking at and help get that temperature down in that conversation, so it doesn't devolve into a situation wherein you're just both yelling at each other and both of you walk away feeling crummy. Because obviously, as a business owner, you don't want to feel crummy. You don't want anyone yelling at you, blaming you or accusing you of doing something untoward when you know that you didn't do that thing, or you feel that you didn't do that thing. But ultimately, you don't want your customer feeling that they've been taken advantage of or slighted either. And so having those policies in place that both people can, go ahead and implement and use and structure the conversation with really, really helps. And that will, again, help with any of the potential fights that you may have. And I know that sounds really wild, that in what circumstances would somebody yell about soap? It's happened, Like I said, it's few and far between, but it's happened. I had a gal over the summer for the Pride soaps, actually. Her shipment got completely wrecked through USPS. And she called me and, I answered the phone. I'm making soap. It's a Tuesday. It's whatever. And I'm immediately met with someone yelling at me and telling me that I have done something terrible and I have ruined this event that she got this stuff for. And I don't even know who I'm talking to. And I'm immediately like, well, okay, hi, I want to help you. I need to help you. I want to help this situation, but I'm being yelled at. I feel attacked. I need to take a breath. Let's both take a breath. And let's talk to each other like humans. What is your order number so I can see what I'm looking at? Just like that. Literally just like that. Your policies will help guide all of that. So the anger that comes from a customer, if you do not address that promptly and with integrity, will become a negative review, will become a, bad stain on your company's reputation. But also it's going to become like this weird, and I know this is stupid to think about, and so maybe I shouldn't, but I do. It's going to become this weird sort of, dark spot on the customer themselves. Like they're going to remember this situation wherein they felt that they were wronged, and then they also felt that they were not handled in the proper way. And so do keep that in mind. Remember that you do have a human that's on the other end of all of these interactions. Remind them that you are a human at the end of all of these interactions as well. And if they are not willing to abide by basic rules of common decency in talking with you. Do whatever you can to professionally end that conversation as quickly as possible. Take it to email to document everything and still follow your policies. They are there whether the customer was a jerk to you or not, you know? And so if someone is continuing to yell at you, but you did, ship out the wrong stuff, or their package did show up damaged, well, those policies still dictate that you need to do X, Y, or Z, the things that you have decided you're willing to do for your business. Refund, exchange, return, whatever. And you have to abide by those policies because you have outlined them. They exist. And at the end of an interaction like that, if you find yourself in a place where you're just feeling really crummy or whatever, obviously you need to take time for yourself. You need to make sure that we separate ourselves from our personal selves from our business. And I know that it's very hard to do. As small business owners, we wear all of the hats. We are the makers. We are the personality. We are the shipping department, the customer complaint department. We're all the things, and so you need to remember that that's business and you are still you. And that particular situation is not a reflection on who you are as a human. It's not a reflection on who you are as a soap maker. It's an instance that can be corrected by just following policies that you put in place. Oh my gosh, and those are so pretty. I love those so much. So I was doing the thin line pour with that, kind of modifying so they're not straight lines. I love it so hard. It looks like a flag waving in the wind. I'm in love with that. But yeah, to the USPS thing, by the way, for customer complaints, the biggest one you're ever going to get is going to be damaged packages. And usually that's probably not your fault. Do make sure that you're packaging all your stuff really tightly so nothing can bounce around in shipment. But USPS, they're pretty good, but they have been known to not be as good, So every once in a while you are going to end up with a damaged package. Just as an FYI, if you haven't used it before, the USPS insurance, when you file that insurance claim that you paid for, to insure your package, they contact your customer and they want your customer to respond to stuff. And sometimes they will ask the customer to bring the damaged package to the post office to be physically inspected, which is like so cuckoo bananas to me because you have to submit photos to do the claim anyway. So it's like, why would you put my customer out twice? They're already put out. They spent money, their package is damaged, and I'm sending them a new one, but I don't want to be damaged because it wasn't my fault that the package got damaged. And so I filed this thing, and it's like, well, yeah, okay, customer, that's already been damaged. Why don't you schlep this over to the post office so the postal worker can see it? It's crazy. It's cuckoo bananas. As a result, I never use the insurance for USPS anymore at all. I just eat the cost whenever anything is damaged. But it is very rarely damaged. So there is that we are working with. But anyway, those are my 2 cents on dealing with customer complaints. The biggest, most important thing you really can have are your website policies. Have them outlined. Stick to them no matter what. The customer is not always right if they're yelling at you, but you do want to work really hard to make sure that your customer is well taken care of and they feel good at the end of these interactions, Yeah, so obviously, first and foremost, the most important thing that you can do for your business is have your returns, refunds, exchanges policy clearly spelled out on your website. Don't hide it. Make it in a place in your About Us, in your whatever section, and follow it. Under a federal thing, I don't believe it's required to have any of those, your returns, your refunds, etc., and so forth, but many states have different laws that, are about that, and also many customers are entitled to a refund if something showed up that was, false advertising, etc., and so forth. So there are some laws about that. So yes, get those policies in place and follow them, whatever it may be. Yes, it can feel bad as an owner of a business to be treated like you're less than human. And in those instances, I do recommend you not engage in those conversations. You say, based on the example that I gave, okay, let's both talk like we're humans because I am one person talking to another person. I want to help you, but I am feeling attacked. So can we take the temperature down? And if that's not working, say, okay, I understand. I'm going to refund you. Thank you very much for your time, and end that conversation as quickly as possible. Best thing you can do in that moment is, I think, if you have a refund policy within your policies that you've laid out, refund them, take the hit, wash your hands of it. Be done with it. It's not worth the investment of you yelling and hitting them at their level for this, because you are a business and emotions are heightened, especially during this time of the year. And so while I do not believe that anybody should ever be abused in a customer service reaction and relationship, there is a level of professionalism that you do need to maintain when dealing and interacting with your customers. Now, as far as everything else in the video, these are all choices that you're going to make for sure, as far as, hitting up the USPS, actually abiding with the insurance and all of the other things. But just first and foremost, just do remember that the customer, we tend to take it for granted, but the customer is in a very kind of vulnerable position by nature of just buying on your website. They are essentially giving you money with the promise of a product. And so you kind of have the upper hand in these relationships. So take that seriously. It's important. Treat it importantly. That's all I would suggest. And if things get really crazy and you feel really bad at the end of the day, shake it off, leave it at the soap shop, leave it at the business, and get some time for self-care for you. Because again, you shouldn't feel crummy at the end of those experiences. I hope that helped. I hope that was interesting. As somebody who's been doing this for a really, really long time, customer complaints are very few, very far between, but when they do happen, every single time I do treat them as if it's my first and as if it's the very most important thing in my world at that time, because it is. I want to make sure that my customer relationship, first and foremost, is preserved. And that's my bottom line. But your opinions may differ. So if they do, or you just want to chat generally about, customer interactions or whatever, keep it nice, keep it upbeat. We're not here to slam or just, be mean. And I don't want a whole toxic dump session. I don't want that in the comments, but just generally, just about your experiences and whatnot. We can have a good dialogue. That would be awesome. Sudzers, you are awesome. Thank you for existing. I'm here still. It's day 6, 6 days in a row of daily content. That's weird for me, but here I am. I hope you guys have been having fun with the 31 Days of Soapmas. I have been having a lot of fun. It's really nice to get back to daily content and a structure. It's very cool. I love it a lot. And so I'm glad to be doing it. For the people who are not subscribed, you can do it. That's cool. Soapandclay.com exists. That's cool. Membership exists. That's in the description where you can join, and on the homepage of the channel, whatever. It's a thing. I'm going to go. I will see you guys all again tomorrow for another round of 31 Days of Soapmas. Soapy fun. Bye.